Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Little Friends. This time we go a bit further, let's say, and we build the Louvre Museum from Paris. I know it's still from Paris, built from Paris, but hey, it is what it is. And I want to do this. It's like I feel like it's mandatory, especially that we have these kind of buildings on the workshop. So let's have a look at the Louvre on Google Earth here. It's quite big, I know, and if you ask me, this is the area that I'm going to build today. From here, the second part is more like it says that Jardin des... I'm not going to read this. There are some gardens here with some little beautiful pools, but I'm going to do half of it. Again, at least for now. Maybe I will continue in a next video or so with the other part. The first things I needed to build in order to get this, of course, was the road. And I kind of decided on my map to be actually on the same, almost on the same area as it is in real life, near this Seine, the canal. And yeah, I had to do the roads surrounding the Louvre Museum, and then I continued with the buildings. The roads are, of course, when you want to copy something or to do something like in real life, the roads are always the most important things to do. If you made those, let's say, properly or as close as possible, then you also might, let's say, nail the entire build. Of course, if that kind of build includes or involves roads. Otherwise it's not going to happen. And because I had on the workshop all these buildings made by someone, and I'm sorry I forgot his name, I had to build this Louvre Museum. And of course I used these. I just played a bit with the coloring of the buildings. They were very bright, and I need to just lower them a little bit more due to my LUT settings. And there are two types of buildings for Louvre Museum, and this one that you see me doing here, I had to use the PO, the Procedure Objects mod, to get rid of the extra little things on the roof, because in real life there are not there, at least for this side of the building. And yeah, it was also a bit smaller, so I had to use the to rescale it a bit, also to make it a tiny bit larger than it is. Well, you know, when you can't or you don't have something, you can use procedure objects to create that that extra thing that you need. Always, right? And thank you most. Yeah, the museum, all the buildings for the museum are not the same, so I'm using the same ones over and over again, but I to also invent, let's say it like that, some other buildings as well, not only these two. I can use some other things, some other buildings. For instance, let me show you here. You are seeing this building here. I did this part, I will do this part, but here I needed something extra, so I used a building that is actually a residential building that looks pretty similar, let's say. And this roof was quite interesting, and I had to make it by myself there. You know, I didn't have any building from where to get this roof, so I had to make it, and it was not hard, as I said. Procedure objects mod is just for this, in my opinion. Just use it to create your own stuff, right? I got a guy called Pekora, who he's from Japan or some, I'm not sure. He did some amazing French assets, but also he did some extra things for himself, including these glass roofs, which are so dope, and I use those. I just resize them, and that's it. And I copy those buildings on the other side as well, like in mirror, just to have it like like that because it's almost the same. Here, if you look, see, it's almost the same. Like here, only there is no glass roof on this side, and we have this extra thing here on the building, which I had to make. And also, I think I used the same buildings. I found some the same residential buildings just to plop them down and make them work and look like they are from the same picture, you know, from the same story. That's what I tried to do, and I intended to do. Inside here, yeah, there are some other stuff which are probably they're here for. This looks like a roof for an exposition or something. I'm not totally sure. I'm not sure if it's there for good or not. So I didn't do that. I didn't add it there. Also on the other side here. But so I left them empty for now. Who knows what's down there. And after that, the complicated thing was to make the Pyramid du Louvre. These glass roofs from here, pyramid glasses, and there was on the workshop there was a metro station like that, but it didn't look very good because it's a very old asset. I went for something done manually in the game, like with procedural objects. So I used again some roofs, the grass roofs made by Pecora, the glass roofs, and just resized them and made them accordingly to look pretty good, right? Like a pyramid, and actually it was not that hard at all. Also with the small ones, just I had to resize them and make them super small. It was quite interesting. Then another little thing, I was like, hey, okay, what do we have on the ground, right? And when I looked on the ground level, I saw some little, I don't even know how to call these. I want to say cobblestones, like it's just some concrete. That's it. It's a concrete here. So I went for the same thing. I used a decal, a procedural object decal texture, and yeah, I plopped it and copied over and over and over again to make only this area from here, just this area, and the rest it is just concrete or just some gravel. And then I had to do the area around the pyramids, and I'm talking about these triangles, which are actually not complicated. From this perspective, they look like some strange triangles. Of course, the Google Earth, that's what it shows. But when you go to the ground level, it's nothing but concrete and concrete curbs. People can actually sit. I don't know if there is another reason having these. Maybe just some little pathways in between there, and that's it. I don't even know if you can actually do walk on these pathways or not. But I used just some simple things to create these, and that's concrete curbs and some ploppable pavement to fill them in. And then of course it was just a matter of copy paste. At least the small triangles were easy to do. Again, copy paste, and that's it. Nothing else. It went out pretty okay-ish. Maybe I could have went for something else, maybe better, I don't know. Even the alignment of the little glass pyramids was quite easy to do. Just some mathematics and nothing more. After that, so we have this particular area so far, right? Up till here. From here, we have another interior road with it's not a roundabout because you cannot turn. There are some bollards here, but I had to take care of this road, and I used some different type of roads until I got the correct road, which is filled with cobblestones. And this was quite interesting to do, if you ask me, because we have these pavement, these curbs, that are there, and I had to find a way of doing those. So I went for a 4-lane road, and I had to ban all the cars driving on the second lane, because I had to add the pavement there, this ploppable pavement, to make it look like that. And it was actually it went out pretty okay. After I had some trial and errors, I figured out, and was not hard at all. What I used, because if you go to the road level, there are lots of different things depending on the moment, I think, when the Google car went there. For instance, here there is nothing, but when you go to the aerial view, you will see some bollards, some square bollards, and in some cases you might actually do find those and you can see them. See these kind of bollards. So it depends on when you look on the Google Earth. So I added these kind of things because they are available on the workshop as well. Easy to use the procedural objects on them, color them. Not hard at all. Afterwards, well, we have to continue doing all these buildings, so we have to continue with the museum itself, right? And we have these beautiful tunnels over here. But because we have a road having like 3 type of lanes here, I couldn't do that properly, so I had to add extra. I will add extra tunnels or entrances, call them as we want, even on the pathway side, to be more easier. And to do so, I will raise this building from here. I will cut it out from other. It is the same building as I use till now, but I will have to just get rid of the first floor, right? And underneath, I will add some bridges. Yeah, I will transform them in procedural objects. I will try to rescale them, make them bigger, so they will fit properly onto the ground level. So cars can actually drive through it without hitting the walls and whatnot. But I will have like only 2 tunnels on the road and 2 extra ones for pedestrian areas. So I will not have like 3 tunnels on the road like it is there in real life. This went pretty well, if you ask me. And I did the same thing on the other side, even though on the other side of this road, because we have this road that it's not completely straight, it's a little bit oblique, let's say. So I had issues with the tunnels. Here the tunnels look like they are pretty straight, but I had to make them also a little bit oblique, which was not hard at all with the procedural objects mode to do it like that. So that's what I did. I went up with that. And if you go back here on this first area, I wanted like, hey, I want to have something like this on top of the roof. An extra... It's pavilion. Okay, anyways, I can't read that. So I wanted to have this type of very sharp roofs as well. So I found another building on the workshop, which I already had. Actually, I had it. I was subscribed to it, and I just transformed it in procedural objects and put it inside there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It went out really, really okay, and it looks pretty well as well. Good. That being said, moving here into the roundabout area, another easy step to do was because here we have hedges. So I just added some hedges around one, and then 2 little squares inside of it, which was not hard at all to do. just a bit of mathematic, and inside I had to add again some glass, and I also added a roof, type of roof made by Ronix, to combine all these in order to get the similar thing as we have. And to continue now, I had to finish these buildings. This way I knew exactly how long this park will be and where this road will end be as well. But I had these buildings that was a bit, they're a bit, let's say, yeah, wider than the normal ones here as well. And I just used the same buildings that I used up until now, the same Louvre buildings, and I plopped them one near each other to make those fat buildings, let's call them, right? I really am super happy because we have these buildings on the workshop now, and they look really good, and they also fit perfectly now, even though there are some extra buildings that can be used, but hey, it is what it is, and we are thankful for that. Next thing to do was to start working on the park area, and I had to add the first layer, which is the there are some barriers, some concrete balustrades, barriers, call them, fences, I don't know. And then there is a layer of hedges right next to them. Add them there as well. And then just some hedges here and there. I cannot copy and do this properly like it is in real life, because I believe I didn't do the proper calculations, and I don't have enough space to add, for instance, these two round areas. So I will just improvise a bit there. And when it comes to this area, walkable area, I can't plop down the little man. It was easy. I use a pedestrian pathway, so people can actually do walk there if they want to. I will add some benches. I added some ploppable pavement, ploppable grass by Ronix, surrounding them with hedges, adding stairs as well, and some box trees also made by Ronix. All these will put up together for a nice big square green area, which is not, of course, not at the ground level. They are a little bit higher than ground level. That's why the stairs are there. And yeah, it went out pretty well so far. And the entire area where you see here this white ground, it's actually we have like a gravel. It's gravel, because if you go to the ground level, it's gravel. It's nothing else but gravel. It's not that white, probably. It's just a little bit brownish. I don't know, beige, call it. And that's what I did. I painted. I used it the paint surface mode, and I painted all the area with the gravel. And when I needed, I just added some gravel pathways, so people can actually do walk, or invisible pathways, doesn't really matter. Few more things we need here to finish this green area. So we need to add these hedges. These are some other hedges added like this. I'm not sure the reason behind this shape and why these are missing. Maybe there is actually a reason. I don't know it, but now. Well, I use the same hedges like before, the ones made by Delmo. Turn them all into procedural objects so I can avoid the problem on this map. And I kept the grass everywhere. Grass. I added some extra ploppable gravel decals in order to have like perfect shapes for my pathways and all gravel areas. Underneath there, it's always a gravel road, a pathway, so people can actually walk. And that's it, I guess, for this particular green area. We I had to finish in a way, or to just delimitate this area. I added some curves here on these sides of, well, actually curves, but they are retaining walls, but they are sunken into the ground, so they work as curves. And here above the road, there is an interesting road. Cars are driving so from this way to this way, and there is only one lane going the other direction, which is like the other way you drive in France and most of Europe. It's like in UK. Not sure the reason. Probably there is a parking area, because I saw some signs here on top of the tunnel. So maybe there are some parking areas beneath there somewhere. I'm not totally sure. But I did it normal way. I didn't do that. I couldn't make I couldn't change the way a lane works in this particular place, unfortunately. So I continued and I did that. I covered the entire tunnel with probable gravel. I added the retaining walls where it was necessary, because I needed to fill them and to delimited the areas between the gravel and the grass. And also on the other side of the museum, where is the big garden area, the place is a tiny bit lower as a height, so there are some stairs which I also added, but I didn't want it to insist too much on this build and this particular area, because I'm thinking if I'm going to continue with the gardens or not in the future, or just add something else. We shall see about that. And now let's add the last little details. We have the Victory Arch, Arc de Triomphe du Carrousel is called. It's a Victory Arch. That's how it can be found on the workshop. It's the same like here. I've also wanted to see exactly what kind of statues we have on both sides of the arch. So there's like an angel looking statue. We don't have this on the workshop, but I improvised and I'm adding a different type of statue that might look, let's say, more or less similar to that. And then right next to the statues there is an entrance into the ground level. I haven't managed to see what's there, but I just made also some stairways just for the looks, nothing else. They lead to nowhere. And on all these sides I added like benches, lots of benches, lots of invisible park generators, so we can bring people and gather around here. And also on the other side of the where the glass pyramids are. Oh my god, there are so many of them. Now here inside this main building, there are like pathways. There is a fountain, I think, which were pretty easy to be done. On this side we have an entrance, some gardens, another entrance. I just tried to cover them up with a fence, and that's it. I didn't want it to go too much into details. And here I made a sunken area in front of the museum. Here I made a sunken area with these things. I don't know, they look like electricity generators, maybe air conditioning. I don't know what this is actually, but hey, I did something similar the way these are, just by doing a small detailing, let's call it, right? as I said earlier, so in front of the museum, I just made a sunken hole. I added some terraforming tool network there, so that the terrain will stay put down. And I'm adding some retaining walls made by Revo to recreate this, let's say the entrance, the proper entrance with this bridge and the beautiful little walls that surrounds the entire sunken area. I'm sorry for cutting a lot from the video, but I couldn't do this split into episodes, and it was already a lot. I don't know, I barely kept it under 30 minutes or so. Hopefully you guys got enough of inspiration, and you guys understood a lot of things of what I did here and how I did them. Oh yes, these are those things that I was telling you about, the electricity or the air conditioning units. I don't know what these are. So I'm just using a warehouse. I reused it as something else with procedural objects, shrinked it down, flatten up the roof and so on. So they look like those little things there. Again, maybe you guys know, those who live in Paris or those who visited the museum, you guys actually do know what those are. Adding some extra grass there, some bunch of things on in there, because I saw the moment this was recorded from the satellite with the Google Earth. There were a bunch of things here. Maybe they were renovating this area. Who knows what happened. Anyways, guys, the cinematics are hitting us, are really coming here. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But till then, next time, stay safe. Subscribe and hit the like button. I salute you.